Hi everyone, thanks for tuning into the JBR's YouTube channel. Meet my friend Noreen Young. She's the world famous puppet lady. She teaches puppetry, she creates puppets, she's a puppeteer herself. She's been in all sorts of different television shows. Her most famous one was Under the Umbrella Tree. There's Today's Special, Canadian Sesame Street, and a bunch of other things. She creates other puppets for other famous puppeteers like Ronnie Burkett. She's created fantastic character puppets like this one of this handsome devil. Hello, how are you today? Oh, nice to see you. I'm glad you could join in. Yay! All right. So we have a good friendship together. She's created these fantastic puppets for me, and one of them is a bunny rabbit, a pirate or miner kind of character, sort of a rough kind of character, and then we have a monster, a cat or flower, probably one of the most versatile ones of them. Again, they're sort of different templates, and then a fantastic bird puppet. Each one is going to have their own individual video to sort of tutorial, but the first 6 minutes of every video is going to be the same. This introduction, as well as how to sort of glue your puppet together safely, and sort of basic instructions that will apply to all 5 puppets. All right, so this is just the start of them. We've got a few more ideas underway, but we're going to just sort of put out these first 5 and see how they do, and go for there. Thanks very much. We'll talk to you soon. Enjoy the video. This part of the video is going to show how to glue your pieces together. I'm going to start with the chin. The chin is very similar in the rest of the puppets, and all of the seams are virtually the same. You might notice how I take the 2 pieces and I sort of pull them back and forth together. That sort of cools the glue just a little bit and to make sure that it's spread out evenly. And then I take a hard press, and as I press as much of the surface area as possible to make sure that the glue is really stuck. You can actually feel a bit of heat coming through the foam a bit, and for me, when it starts to cool down, I know that's an indication that I can sort of lift my fingers away. So it takes about 5 seconds for it to sort of cool. If you've put too much glue on, if the bead is too thick, then it might take 2 or 3 times longer. Usually when something doesn't stick, it's because someone didn't wait long enough for it to cool, or they put too much on and still didn't wait long enough for that thickness to cool. So there you go, you can see the chin is pretty well done. Now that's going to be the bottom of the chin, and next you'll see where we attach sort of the mouth piece. So the mouth goes onto the clean side, so you don't see where the seams are at the bottom to make the chin curved. Is near the mouth. We want to keep that sort of to the bottom and people won't see it then. Now here we just put a little bead of glue all along the inside perimeter of what's going to be the chin, and stick and hold it for 5 seconds again. I've sped up the video a little bit. Now we're going to do the inside hinge. We put a bead of glue sort of from end to end, and then we put on the piece, the felt piece. We make sure it's stuck and dry, and then we put the bottom chin on. We line it up first, we put our bead of glue, and then we pull the felt tight. You want to make sure it's tight. If it's loose, then when you go to talk with your puppet, the jaw will drop down and it looks a little silly. So definitely make sure you pull that piece tight. Now we've got the strap for our fingers. So you want to put a bead of glue on either side and leave a loop in the middle to put your thumb or your finger. So just a dab of glue on each side. Now remember, these are hot, so if you're testing it out, try not to put your finger in hot glue. Maybe let it dry before you test it out. And there you go, fits on my hand beautifully. Three. So for me recording it, this happens to be the last of the puppets. This is probably the hardest puppet. It has the most pieces and sort of the most to glue in. This puppet can be taken in a lot of different directions. If you haven't seen the first half of the video, please go back, take a look at that. Make sure you learn safety and gluing and learning how to hold your pieces for 5 seconds. When we start with our flat piece of foam, we want to shorten the distance between areas, and that's where the triangles are cut out. As it shortens the distance, we get more of a rounded shape. This creates the dome to our puppet, the dome head. And then the hat sort of fits over top of it, and the top of the head sticking out becomes the hat, especially when you paint it a different color than the skin color, or you break it up by fur and stuff like that. It really looks like a hat. Some people were confused by that in our test samples of summer camp and such like that. So you might notice the chin, same way. We want to make sure that where the corners are, where the triangles are cut out, that becomes the bottom of the chin. And the nice smooth front area is the front of the chin, or the jaw, where the lips will go. You might notice on the bottom where the roof of the mouth is that it's sort of cut a bit lower. That's so there's more room for your hand to go in. You want to make sure that that becomes the front of your puppet. If you have trouble finding it, it's the opposite side to your seam. Alright, putting on our hinge and our finger straps. Those are, again, covered in the first half of the video. Shouldn't need too much explanation here. There we go. You can see how the rim of the hat goes on. Now you may want to, I glued it in sort of one go. I'm pretty quick at it. You may want to glue like half and then go back and sort of re-glue the other half. You can change the tilt of the hat, so you can have it sort of lean back on the head a bit more. You could have it sort of tilted forward. In this case here, we wanted to sort of stick it up a little bit. However, I never seem to hold it long enough. It keeps popping off. Yeah. I like putting the nose sort of right up into the hat and sort of the eyeballs tucked into the hat. I thought that was pretty funny. A good little feature. We've included teeth with this one because it's sort of important to the look of the puppet. You can always cut a tooth off if you want. To make it look like poor guy's missing some teeth. Alright, you can see where I've sort of tucked in the eyeball here into the hat. There we go. I turned this one into a pirate, and yes, he has sort of an eye patch over an eye. I could have just left the eye missing, but meh. So I've given him kind of bags under his eyes here. I just cut little pieces of foam. I want him to be sort of like a tired, run-down sort of pirate. One that's maybe sort of past his pirating prime. So here, Jeff, pause for a sec. Giving our puppet sideburns and mustaches, all those sort of fun things. Here, you might notice I've put the eyebrows on top of the hat, not over the eyes. I'm filling in sort of as many places with the furs I feel to be sort of shaggy hair. Means I have less painting to do. You want to make sure that you do your painting sort of at the end, gluing all your pieces, because furs and feathers and foams and felts and things like that don't stick to wet paint. The glue just doesn't work on those sort of things. I'm also giving a lot of the shape here to the character by sort of cutting off bits of foam, like giving it a haircut, if you will, rounding some of the pieces. That gives it a nice sort of even look, rather than having all of these squared off lips and noses and stuff. So just trimming off a little bit. Now here I'm giving him a little bit of a foam skull and crossbones, really sort of accent the idea that he's a pirate. So overall, there wasn't a whole lot of accessories to put on this particular puppet. Now we have an eye patch being put on. I just cut it out of felt. I like the idea that someone, as a gag, could lift up the flap and there would actually be an eyeball. Maybe that says more about his character rather than him actually needing the eye patch. Now here we go into painting, and we try and tilt the paintbrush to get in behind or underneath things like the nose or around the ear or behind some hair. And we want to avoid painting the things like the furry mustache and such. We just want to paint the white foam. And you really should paint anything white. The teeth, for example, they're white already, but you need to paint them white because the foam has the tendency to yellow over time. So if you don't seal it or protect it in with some paint, your puppet can age quite quickly. The paint itself sort of fills in a lot of the little pockets on the surface and make it easier to clean or wash later on. You might have noticed a little bit of a trick. I tested the color of paint on the rim of the hat because I know I was going to paint the hat black, and I just wanted to test out the color first and see if that I like it first. Well, we're nearly done this puppet, so I want to thank everybody for tuning in, for watching the JB Arts YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Have yourself a wonderful day. I really should have used a larger brush for this example.